Hello, friends and family, and thank you for joining us for another segment of Daily Bible Bites here at Mount Olive Multicultural Community Church. Today, we are finishing up the book of Ruth. We're in chapters 3 and 4. One day, Naomi said to Ruth, "Isn't it time that I find a husband for you? I'm thinking of Boaz. He will be winnowing barley tonight out on the threshing floor. Bathe and put on some nice clothes and go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him see you. Notice where he lies down, then lift the cover off his feet and lie down there, and he will tell you what to do." After Boaz had finished a good meal, he lay down to sleep. Then Ruth lifted the covering off his feet and lay there. Suddenly, around midnight, he sat up. "Who are you?" he demanded. "Ruth," she replied. "Thank God," he exclaimed. "You are kinder to Naomi now than before. You can give Naomi an heir by marrying me. Now, don't worry, I'll handle all the details, for everyone knows what a wonderful person you are. But it's true, there is someone more closely related to you than I am. If he will marry you, fine, but if he won't, then I will." So she lay at his feet until morning and was up before daybreak. He said, "Don't let it be known that a woman was here." Then he tied up a bushel and a half of barley for her mother-in-law, and she returned to the city. "What happened?" Naomi asked when she arrived. She told Naomi everything. Then Naomi said, "Be patient until we hear what happens." 4. So Boaz found the relative. Then Boaz called 10 men of the village and asked them to sit as witnesses. Boaz said to his relative, "Naomi is selling Elimelech's property. If you want it, let me know. If you don't take it, I will." Then Boaz told him, "Your purchase of the land requires your marriage to Ruth to carry on her husband's name." "Then I can't do it," the man replied, "for her son will become heir to my property." So the man said to Boaz, "You buy it." Then Boaz said to the witnesses, "You have seen that I have bought all the property of Elimelech, Chilion, and Mahlon, and with it I have purchased Ruth to be my wife so that she can carry a son and carry on the family name." And all the people replied, "May the Lord make you great and successful in Bethlehem." So Boaz married Ruth, and the Lord gave her a son. And the women of the city said to Naomi, "Bless the Lord who has given you this grandson. May he restore your youth, for he is the son of your daughter-in-law who loves you and has been kinder to you than 7 sons." And the neighbor women named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse and grandfather of King David. So here we have one of the happiest endings ever. We had a woman who had lost her husband. Naomi lost her husband and both of her sons. And so these were two women who would not have been looked kindly upon. When women lost their husbands, they didn't have much, and many of them were forced into lives of prostitution, lives of beggars. They were outcasts in the city. They weren't even allowed in the city walls. It was a very, very dismal reality for many women during this time because they were considered property. At that time, they didn't have rights. They couldn't hold deeds to land and things like that. So now, if we have a husband who passes away and we're widowed, we would just automatically inherit what was his. And vice versa, if there was a husband who had a wife and there were no other children from another marriage or something like that. Again, it can get complicated when there's not just the one marriage, but it is what it is in this day and age. But here we have women who would have had a terrible, terrible reality. But Naomi chose to go back to her land and Ruth chose to go with her. And then we have a racy part here. She went and sat at his feet or went and lifted his gown and sat at his feet. That was very, very flirty. And the intention was there that I'm giving myself to you. If you want me, I'm dedicating myself to you and I would like to be your wife. But she didn't do it on her own. She did it at the command of Boaz's relative, one of her in-laws. And so he decided that he was going to be that kinsman redeemer. So he is a type of Christ here. It's a foreshadowing of what we saw Christ do for us, that he came and he was our kinsman redeemer. He redeemed us at a price. And that's what Boaz did. He purchased the land, and in doing so, Ruth was made his wife, and then she had offspring, and Naomi was no longer a widow with no other offspring. She now, by transference, was given offspring through Ruth and her marriage to Boaz. Boaz was the kinsman redeemer. He was well off, and so she married well. She was no longer very, very poor. She no longer had to worry about where her next meal was coming from or where Naomi's next meal was coming from. And Boaz took care of them all. Again, you never know who's watching you. Like I said in the last Daily Bible Bites when we tackled chapters 1 and 2, you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching your behavior, if you're a good person or a bad person, if you're a person that has empathy for other people, if you're a person who is kind and polite, if you're a person who is able to put their own wants and desires aside to help with the needs of others, like Ruth did for Naomi. You never know. And you also never know who God is using to set you up for that big blessing. God works through people. He is our kinsman redeemer. He gives us an example of Boaz as the kinsman redeemer, and he's got a kinsman redeemer for all of us. Thank you so much for joining us for this segment of Daily Bible Bites. Join us back again where we'll continue in chronological order, and we'll start in the next book, which is 1 Samuel. God bless you, and we love you in Jesus' name. Bye-bye.